like it might be a copyright violation. It's a lot, right? And the reason that humans can be controlled is that if you write a book and you don't mention any copy of somebody's stuff, they'll sue you. But in the AI world, you just ask a question and you just upload it to your house, and then it produces something that only you see. But what if that thing it produced is a copyright violation? Who would know? Who would know? Because it would be considered.
Good morning.
You could tell it to write you a new book by a different author. You could tell it to write you a new Stephen King book. And then it would just write one. It would make a cover.
Yes.
And make an ebook. It would look just like Stephen King made it. You could borrow somebody's art technique without permission, put it together in a cover, borrow some other treatment of how to organize the titles, which would also be copyrightable. And it would just massively get around copyrights for you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing that makes
Don't I
it
know it?
happen quickly and how fast it happens, how easily it happens, and how undetectable it is.
So I've totally screwed up
That's the big difference.
my...
So I'm going to triple down on my prediction that lawyers and artists who have copyrights to protect, people like me, are going to make AI really trouble. That's not a copyright.
No, I doubt it.
There will be an argument that it is.
AI is part of everything else.
Not is off point.
They can't keep going in the direction they're going without AI.
If you don't include this as
They'll figure out a way to make it work.
There won't be any art like humans, because the whole incentive will be gone. All right. And then, of course, lawyers will be replaced by AI. Do you think it will be legal to do a contract entirely
Halt,
with
citizen.
AI, no human lawyer?
Why are you in public?
Well, let me tell you.
Show me your vaccination status.
Lawyers will make that illegal.
Alright, anyways, I need to, I like to put on, like, Saturday jazz or whatever. I don't hear anything. Oh, there it is. So, I'm trying to get this to work now. But it doesn't work. I don't know how to make this be the right way, but whatever. As you can see, I have a nice little error here. Yeah, so now I gotta look up how this fucking works. And if I can totally start over. I set it up once and got it working, but then I kept messing around with it and then it stopped working. And I don't know how to get it back. This is like a totally different style of building stuff that I've never done before. But which is super fun and easy and fun and super great. Okay. I mean, I might just have to start it all the way over. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And now it says this. That wasn't there a second ago. In fact, it looks like everything's gone now. I don't know what I did. I fucked up this folder, this site folder here. You're not supposed to get rid of that. That's an essential part of this language, or this setup. This program needs that folder, so. I mean, it's part of the setup right here. I don't understand. This is how you get it to go live. Although that says NPX on it, I'm not really sure. I gotta look that up. What does NPX mean? What does it mean? The command allows you to run an arbitrary command from an npm package. An arbitrary command. What does that mean? Run a command from a local or remote npm package. Arbitrary, so it's similar to saying npm, and then you got to go to YouTube and say npm versus npx. What does it mean? I don't know, but you gotta watch 4 ads before you find out.
Difference between the npm and npx. You must have seen, even while using the React, that we can use the npm install create React app, or you can simply say npx create React app and the project name.
Okay.
So what is the difference between npm and npx? To understand this, I'm going to use one very simple package called Cowsay. The purpose of Cowsay is very simple. Let me first of all install it. I'm going to say npm install Cowsay. Now I'm going to install this globally, so I'll say -g. So it is installing this Cowsay package.
Okay.
Now the purpose of Cowsay is like this, that I say Cowsay and for example hello, then there is a cow getting displayed and it says hello, whatever message you have passed in
Okay,
short
fine.
is
Whatever.
displayed along with this cow image. This is how the Cowsay package works. Now, if I want to check whether this package is installed or not, I can use npm list Cowsay. If I run this command, then it is showing me empty because in the current folder, I don't have this Cowsay installed because it is installed globally. So now I'm going to check it whether I have it globally or not. So I'll say npm list Cowsay -g. So you can see that it shows the path, and of course now it means that Cowsay is installed in my system. It is occupying the related space also, and all the related files are now existing in my computer. Every time you have any package update, you are going to install it, and every package is going to occupy space also. Now let me just remove this npm uninstall cowsay-g. So if there is any cowsay package globally installed, this is going to
So
remove
maybe
it.
I should just uninstall it.
Now if I just say npm list cowsay-g, it is uninstalled. Let's try with npx now. So now I'm going to say npx cowsay hello. This means I am not installing the cowsay package. Here you can make out that it is installing it, but temporarily the package is not installed. It executes the package and then it uninstalls. To prove it, let me just say np.
So it doesn't install it. Oops.
Now I'm discussing the difference cowsay install. Now all this is going to remove, it is uninstalled the cowsay package hello. This means I am not installing the cowsay package. Here
npx.
you can make out that it is installing it, but temporary.
I'm not installing it. It is installing it. I'm not installing it. It is installing it. But temporarily. Executes the passage. Okay. So
the
what does
package
npx
is
do?
here you can make out it executes the package and then it uninstalls. To prove it, let me just say npm list cowsay-g.
It
If
is
I
not
do
there.
this, then it is empty. So the cowsay package is not installed, it is just executed. So the difference between npm and npx is that npm will install the package and then you can run it, whereas npx directly executes and then uninstalls that package. So the files which are related to that package, like here in create react app, you don't need to download it, it executes it, and if there is any new version, then with the latest version the npx will run with.
Okay. Good enough, I guess. So what the hell do I need to do now? Good question, good question. I mean, I have it already installed. The problem is it's not connecting to my index.html. I could put this up on GitHub and ask another question on the thing. Hey, why doesn't it connect? I would like to be able to figure this out on my own, but and then they'll respond with like, oh, you probably need this over here, you probably need this, you probably need this other thing, download this, go into this stuff, go over here and look at all this other stuff now. 10 years later, I'm like off in some random language doing something I never intended to do. All right, now moving to the nerd. I did that and install it. This is where you make the files here, and I made the files. Hold on. But it automatically creates this site folder here. And that's this program creating that folder. So I shouldn't have deleted it, but I did. But it kept it because let me see. understand what it's doing, to be honest. Hey, look, it works now. What the fuck? I fixed it. If I do this, like, how many index.htmls do I have? Now I got one inside the README as well. Like the way I've been doing it, it does not work this way at all. So I'm kind of, I'm sort of just figuring this out on the fly, I guess. There's no way to actually, page header. What does this say? What is this? Is this different? Is this the same file? What am I working with here? It's got this. This is a README. I don't know why the README is in there. I mean, I don't know why the index is inside of the README, because the README was originally just a file. What is a .md? Markdown documentation is a lightweight markup language.
Hi everyone, my name is Carlos. I'm a web developer based in Brooklyn, New York. And today I want to talk about Markdown. What is Markdown? Why do we use it? And how does it actually work? So let's go ahead and jump right in. So what exactly is Markdown? Why do we use it? And how do we use it? Well, in simple terms, Markdown is a text to HTML conversion tool for web writers. So Markdown allows us to write using an easy to read, easy to write plain text format and then convert it structurally to valid HTML. With this definition, Markdown is essentially two things. One, it's a plain text formatting syntax, and two, it's a software tool that was written in Perl that converts plain text formatting to HTML. The overall design goal for Markdown's formatting syntax is to make it as readable as possible. So that allows us to create text that looks like this and transform it into this kind of output.
A list of tips.
Now, many of us have used different tools that allows us to format text in various different ways. So Microsoft Word is a great example for that. Let's look at how I would write some simple content using Microsoft Word. Now, Microsoft Word is very useful in providing us with various tools to actually format and edit our text. But a lot of times it may be overdoing it. Perhaps you just want to bold some text or make a simple list, and maybe you don't even want to open Microsoft Word to format a text that you're going to send as an email. Another tool that's used a lot, and it's the way web pages and email templates are coded so that text is formatted, is HTML. So let's see how we would write the same content using HTML. Now, HTML is pretty much used everywhere in the internet. It's also more expressive and can actually achieve some specific effects that may be difficult or impossible in Markdown. However, there's a learning curve to HTML, and similarly to Microsoft Word, its benefits really depend on what you're using it for. You can see in this example, you have to actually keep into account the various different tags that HTML provides and make sure that they're all being closed properly. Now, this might be easy if you're experienced, but if you're a beginner and you just want to format a text like an email or certain documentation, it might be overboard and unnecessary to learn. So let's see how we would write the content from the previous two examples using Markdown. As you can see, Markdown syntax is comprised entirely of punctuation characters, which have been chosen carefully to look like what they mean. So asterisk around the word kind of represent emphasis, which bolds the text. Markdown lists will include
Is this helping me?
The idea for Markdown is to make it easy to read, write, and edit prose in a plain way.
Okay, well, what is my question? Why does this relate to my question? My question is... see here, we created a file called readme. Just like over here, we created a file called index.html. All the stuff before that, this, in between these whatevers, is what's inside of that file. And so this is written in Markdown right here. So why do we have a readme file? See, but the thing is, this is not a file. I guess is a readme file a folder? Just inherently? I would have thought this would have gave me a file, not a folder. Alternatively, you can create these. Is a readme file a folder? I never used a readme file. I don't know. I never had any use for one. I want to create beautiful and I must create the best, most beautiful readme file there ever was. Like, what is the point of them? And how, like, is it supposed to make a folder? Like, is any of this stuff good?
Look, I don't know why I'm doing this. What's the point of all this? Well,
That's me.
you're doing this for all new developers that join the team. Yeah, but is it worth it? I mean, the documentation is going to change, so what's the point? Look, I'm telling you, people will admire you for your amazing literary skills. Just imagine, you could become the Charles Dickens of software document.
Okay.
Writing class, more
Wow, this was the worst video they could possibly give me. Alright.
Welcome to Document Write. In this week's video, we're going to talk about what a README is and how you can write an excellent one. A README file, often the first file that software users read. It is a text file containing information for the user about the software,
So he says it's a text file. this is a folder, right? No, this is the text file over here. Okay, so I have a README folder now? Why do I have a README folder? This is not meant to be a folder. That may fuck it up, I don't know. I'm getting rid of it. Did it fuck it up? No? Still works. Okay, well, whatever. I got rid of it. I think it just arbitrarily thought, I don't know. This is the README right here. Okay, and we'll get to that later. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about a README right now. Okay, so I'm back to square one. Here's the page header. Whatever. 30 minutes later, we're back to square one. Now, I guess I'll keep that too. Yeah, for GitHub. Okay. This dude. I just want to watch this and see what he does.
From a template, and you'll be off and running. It shouldn't take very long. And now I'm also a very big fan of simplicity. I like GUIs, user interfaces, all of that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to open it with GitHub Desktop. If you prefer working from the command line, all power to you. But I'm going to open this in GitHub Desktop. Nice thing here, it says where it's coming from, where it's going to be saving it to, and I can click clone. If you don't have GitHub Desktop already, you might have to install it, but it's very easy to use. So I can click clone just like that, and to download all the files, put them on my machine, and I'm ready to work. And then I can just click open in Visual Studio Code, and just like that, I'm off and running in VS Code, which is just wonderful. So let's actually go and check out what we're going to be starting with, because we do have some things here. So for now, I'm going to click this Go Live button just so we can see the design that we're working from. And then we're going to sort of backwards work this into a template as we go, and we're going to learn a lot about 11t along the way. So currently we have something that looks like this. My images aren't quite working right now, but that's fine. We'll fix those up. A lot of these links aren't going to work just because we're going to be changing the setup in here.
What is my goal? This index over here, this file here. I think. Why don't we open my old project that I'm not going to be using anymore? Also, I got to do something about these folders. Like the assets folder. Well, not that, but the assets folder. This is my whole other project that I was like 4 or 5 weeks into. What does that do? Okay, perfect. This is new, this is old. Come over here. This is my old HTML. Now, so now I need to make this turn into what this was. Make sure it doesn't close itself. Okay. So anyways, make a template, in other words. And that's what I'm trying to figure out how to do.
So
this
we
is
also
his
have all
HTML that
articles.
he's going to
Let's
turn
go
into a
and check that one
template.
out. So the all articles is just going to be a list of all the articles that are going to be in there. And the last thing that we're going to have is the individual article page as well. So we can open that one up, and right now it's a little bit broken. And actually, that should be pushed down to the bottom. But we have individual articles that will be coming in here as well. So we have different things that will be coming in, just a basic template that we can work from and turn this into an actual, from a fully static site to something that can be turned into something a bit more dynamic. So the very first thing we're going to do before we worry about anything else and worry about these files and how we're going to set things up is I'm going to open up my terminal because we need to come into the command line for a little bit of the stuff here. If you're not used to the command line, we're not going to do anything too scary. But if you've never been in there, what you're going to have to do actually is start off by going to, and I'll link this down below as well, nodejs.org and downloading Node. Because this
I've already
comes with
done
the
all
Node
this, but I'll
Package
sit through
Manager,
it.
which we're going to be using for this project. So it's important that you have that already. If you don't, it's just you click download, you click next, 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 it installs it on your computer, and then you can do these next steps.
Okay.
So what we want to do, and we want to come in and say npm init hyphen y. And that's going to initialize our project, and the -y is just saying answer yes to all the questions, because it asks a whole bunch. A lot of the time we just use the defaults anyway, so just like that, it makes it. And what that's doing is it's giving us this package.json, and then I'm just going to write clear there.
Oh, good, an ad. I was hoping for an ad.
The biggest savings are found at Springfest, so hurry up.
Reminder, you live in America.
We can get rid of all that. And the next thing we want to do here while we're here is we're going to do another npm, and we're going to install. And what we want to install is 11t, and it is a scoped package, so you're going to do an 11t like this, so the number 11ty / and then you're going to write 11t out, and then you do a space -- save dev, and I'm zoomed in, so it's breaking
That's
multiple
why.
lines. Normally it would look something like that. And the reason we're writing save dev is because this is a dev dependency. It's something we need for the development process, but it's not something that will be public facing. So it's going to let the project know that we need this as something to work, but only on the development side. You hit return, and it takes a little bit to install. It's going to grab all the files and all the stuff it needs for 11t to work, and it's going to create a node package, node modules, I should say, folder in here. And it shouldn't take too much longer. Let's go. There we go, node modules. And that's just full of stuff you don't want to go in there. Don't even worry about it. It's just there. If you've never used npm or you've never had your node modules before, it's there, we need it, but you don't have to worry about it. So now we have 11t installed in our project. And so if I come and look, I have now my package file, and I have a package.json file, and the package.json, a package lock.json file. And the lock, you're not going to come in here. It's just making sure you have the right version of everything that you're going to need along the way. You won't be going in that. But what we will be doing is going inside of our package file here. So just the regular package.json. And we're going to come in our test script, and we're going to delete that. And we're going to replace it with, and you can do different things here, but I'm going to do a start command. Another one that's often you'll see here is a dev. So your dev, you do an npm run dev when you're doing your development work. So you could have dev. I'm just going to use start because it's a little faster. And here what I'm going to write is 11t --serve. And the serve there is just a flag that we can run.
That's what I already have.
That's going to have a live server running for us. So it uses browser sync, which is wonderful.
I don't know what that means.
Here, build, and we'll write 11t.
Sounds wonderful, though.
And that's it. We'll just do 11t just like that. I was going to put something else, but we don't need anything else. It just works when we just have that right there. So I have my start, which is going to serve. It's going to have the server running for us. Hit save. All the changes come. It's browser sync. It's wonderful. And then we have my build and 11t
so
here,
wonderful.
which is when we need to build the site. It's going to run that command.
I don't think the
And
word
we're almost
wonderful
ready to
has
get
never
going.
been more
We need
aptly
to create
used.
one more file, which is a configuration file for 11t. So I'm going to click a new. So it's going to be a .11t.js. So in here, we're going to start simple, and we're slowly going to have to add a little
Here's
bit.
where we're actually changing things. And granted, that's in here as well. Hold on. Where is it? I need to go to this. Wait, add. Yeah, this. I think. Hold on. I don't even have CSS. What does this do? Oh, interesting. Okay. Copy CSS files. Adding CSS JavaScript fonts. Yes, how do I do that? Let's go ahead and do that first. mean, it doesn't have to be using Sass. I'm not that. I mean, I know Sass has some benefits, but I'm not using them anyways. There are many paths available when you decide you want to start adding assets. For most projects, it's wise to get the project's complexity and long-term maintenance goals guide. Words, words, words. This is the simplest approach and is great for beginners. It doesn't require a bundler. This copies individual CSS files that are referenced in your HTML. Create a bundle.css file in your root project folder and add some CSS code to this file. I don't really understand that. I mean, this is all set up totally differently than everything than the entire way I've learned this stuff for like 2 years now. So I'm not doubting that it works. I've never connected things this kind of way. And it might be a while before I'm able to do it well. This is a simplest approach. A bundler. A bundler? Yeah, okay. I don't want to have to get a bundler anyway. Let's just follow what he does.
Bit more to this configuration file, but as very basic, we're just going to start with a module.exports.
Now, module.exports. What is he doing? Hold on. Where the fuck did that page go? Let me move this shit over here. Alright. Module.exports. So he's starting with JavaScript. And what did he call his? He called it 11d.js. Well, the dot is not this. Which I don't see that in here anywhere. There's one. I mean, so he's about to make this, I believe.
And it's going to be equal to a function, which we're going to put 11t-config in here. And basically what I want to tell it is where my source files, or where my source is coming from.
Module.exports. Module.exports. Module.exports.
And basically what I want to tell it is where my source files, or where my source is coming from. Where am I working from? And also, where are the public-facing files going to be located? And that's the very first thing we want to do. And if you're just wondering how I'm setting, or like why I even know all of this, this is from the 11t.
What page is this on? Asian Americans advancing justice. Stand against hatred. Just fucking kill me. Oh look, Black Lives Matter is there right now. Just fucking kill me. Please just fucking kill me. Please. Let me go. Let me out of this fucking place. For God fucking sakes. Alright, anyways. Let's just ignore that and keep going. Swear to God, man. I fucking swear to God. Okay. Yeah. Earn my daily bread here. Let's, configuration. Where's configuration? Configuration. Configure your templates? I don't know what that means. Configuration. So, configure files are optional. Add a 11t.js file to the root directory of your project to configure 11t to your own project's needs. What is this doing exactly? Configuration files are optional. What are configuration files? Why don't we look that up so I actually know what the hell I'm making here? Configuration files. Maybe I need to be more specific. This is in the context of and stand with Ukraine. This is in the context. Oh man. Can we explain this?
Today I wanted to walk through one of my favorite packages, config. I use this package in almost every Node.js project I create. Anytime I want to have an external configuration file or multiple configs that I can change based off of the environment, I always reach for config. So I'm going to walk through some of the different settings and how I use config in my projects. So I'm going to start out with a basic Express.js hello world example. So you can see here, I have one route that just outputs hello world. I have a couple of different settings up at the top. I have port and I have host. So I'm going to go ahead and just start this right now. I will be starting this application by pressing F5. I always like to start the app in debug mode. If you're curious on how I set up this launch JSON to be able to debug Node applications, I'm going to link my other videos in the comments on how to set up debugging. Okay. Looks like I forgot to install Open.
I don't think that's what I need.
Documentation right here. You can see it's talking about all of this right here. Anytime you're using something new, I definitely recommend checking out the documentation, making sure you understand why you're doing different things. So, and that's, I'm not just figuring this out on my own. It's always through the documentation that we learn. And so we can see there's the basic example. Now, because you'll notice here's a really basic example, and then here it's within, like here we have the module exports, and then here it has the function. I am doing it with the function here because we will have to be configuring some extra stuff after. So just we don't have to add it after the fact. And then we can still have our input and output. So let's come and drop this in there. So we're doing a return, directory, input, and I'm also going to change the output. So here we put output. So the input in this case is my SRC. So I'm going to tell it all the files I'm working from are in my SRC folder. If you don't put an output, it's optional. It's going to output by default to _site. So if you think that's fine, then just you don't have to include an output. I'm going to change this to public just because I do think it's a bit more obvious. This is my public folder. This is the one that everybody is seeing, and my source is where I'm working out of. If you have a different way you want to work, there's nothing, that's perfectly fine.
See, another difference is he has a source folder. I don't have a source folder. So should I make one, or I don't really know. I see that. Well, then you have some kind of shit on your ear. This is all not good. None of this is good. You know what's good? Tilling the land. All of this is not good. There's nothing good about any of this.
Ready to go, and now we can start using 11T. Just make sure you save your file because sometimes I forget to do that. So it knows that I want to be working out of these files over here, and I already have some HTML files. So watch this. If we just come, let's open up my terminal again. And to open up the terminal, I don't know if I mentioned it before, you just go to View, and you go to Terminal. It's right there, or you can see it's Control backtick. And if you're on a Mac, it's probably Command backtick. And now we can do our npm start, because if you remember, before I do that, in my package, we said that the start command, or the start script, will be 11T serve. So npm start, hit return on my keyboard, and there we go. It's launched it locally. You also get a little UI, and if you want to check something on your phone, you just go to that address on your phone. As long as you're on the Wi-Fi, the same local network, it will work. It's fantastic. Now, there will be some things that aren't going to work properly just because of 11T, but we can...
What time is it? Oops. Give me one moment. God damn it.
Open opportunity.
Ugh.
Start script will be 11T serve. So npm start, hit return on my keyboard, and there we go. It's launched it locally. You also get a little UI, and if you want to check something on your phone, you just go to that address on your phone.
I still don't understand what a configuration file is for, what it does. I've never used one before. What the fuck is a configuration file? I just don't know. Like, I want to kind of know what I'm making and why. Like, how it connects. Like, how does this connect to what I'm doing? I understand how it connects the other way with how I normally make a website, but I don't know what the fuck this is. I really have no idea. And I'm not a computer science major, so I don't have any context for this. You know? And this guy doesn't... I mean, he's not gonna go into that. I mean, you might as well talk about everything. Configuration files are optional. Okay, good. They always like to say that. They make our lives easier. Nigga, none of this shit is easy. Specifically, what is it doing? Different Node.js module formats. Okay, so I think we're using this one. Because it has, well, I haven't made mine yet, but the one he's working on has input and output. Oh, never mind. Export and import.
And my source is where I'm working. And now here, and I already have some HTML files. I mentioned it before. It's probably let's open up my.
Let me just think about this. Module.exports is a function that returns a directory, where the input of the directory is the source folder. What is the source folder? Well, that's that. Now, I'm not working out of a source folder yet. I mean, maybe I should, perhaps. I mean, the instructions didn't tell me to. Do I need to create a source folder? Because then I can set it up exactly like he's doing it. And then create this and try to understand what all I'm doing. Like, there's no assets folder, there's nothing like that. Hold on. Let me see something. See, it just says make a folder. And then get npm and then install it and then it never says make a source folder. It just says start making these files. But where are we at in the directory when we made this? We're just like in the top part of it. So then, well, there's site, but it did that automatically. Like, is site the same thing as source? It did that automatically. It made it itself. So he has a source. He doesn't even have a site folder, does he? So that's why I don't understand. Does anybody talk about the site folder? Probably not. Like, should I not have made that already, or? Because honestly, the source thing is what's gonna have all of this in it, which I can't access for some reason. Okay. That's gonna have this folder in it. That's gonna have this HTML in it. That's gonna have this index.js. It's gonna have, I guess, that in it too, and that. What's in my JSON? What is that? Oh yeah, I need that. JSON will be in there. It'll have my CSS. It'll have all this stuff. And so I'm just not sure what a site, does site Does this site thing it makes for you, does that have the same functionality as the source folder? What, little Watson? What, little Watson? Hmm? Yeah, I know. What time is it now? Gross, get up. Watson. What? Why are you wagging your tail like something's about to happen? Fucking farted. Oh look, it already did rain a little bit. Or maybe it's raining right now. It's raining a little bit. Like what role? This is the next difference between what I'm seeing and what I have is this source folder. Which I don't have one. I don't have a source folder. Okay, well let's make one and just see what it does. I'm just gonna make one and see what it does. If it fucks everything up or not. Okay. New folder. We're gonna call it source. Boom. And guess what? We're gonna put this inside of there. Are you sure you want to move that in there? Yes. That could have fucked everything up, but see how site now has a source folder in it? Did this all get fucked up? No. I don't know what the site folder is. It made it on its own. Is site the same thing as source? I should probably ask Slack that. Hey guys. I have a question. Yeah, I don't know how any of this fucking shit works, man. Do you not want me to ask the question? Yeah, you need to go over here and use this tool that... There's no telling what they're gonna say. There's fucking no telling. Oh, you don't need to do that. You need to do this. Now get into this totally different thing over here. All right. Oh, well, never mind. What's it called? 11ty, okay, static site generator. Output folder. Wait a minute. So it's not the source folder. So output folder. Like, I don't know what any of this fucking shit is. This is not what we learn. I mean, when you're learning web development just on your own, you have no context for anything. So you're constantly referencing things that you don't even know if you're saying it right. Like, you don't even know. Like a computer science degree, it gives you context for what's what and why things are going where they're going. And it's really just a matter of you know, when you get into these technologies, you just have to line up their versions of what you already know. Like, you have context for it. Oh, this is how they're doing this. This is how they're doing that. For me, it's like, I don't have context. I have to figure this out, you know, head first. Like, what is this really for? What is the broader goal that we're doing? Anyways. They're gonna be like, you need to put this on GitHub. The lady's such a bitch. Anyways. So okay, so it's an output folder. So my output, he has his saying public. My output will say site. And the input will be source. So maybe that's just what I need to do. Here's my source. Where's he at? He's doing module exports. Okay. Here's my source. And then now I need to... So yeah, my input will be source as well. And then, but my output will be public. So he's just creating his output this way. Right. Right? Yeah, I think so. Dot 11ty, okay. Dot okay. Now that's not in your source folder, right? Yeah, this sits outside. Correct. Okay, cool. Let's go to the configuration. I think this is what it needs to do. Go to configuration. Where the fuck is that word? Configuration. Configure templates. Is this it? No. I don't know if I'm blind or... There's it is. Oh wait, I already have it open here. Okay, and this saying output dist. It says output dist, but over here it's telling me... Where the fuck is it? Here. Wait. Here. Output folder site. But then this is saying output folder dist. I don't know. We're just gonna roll with this. And we're not gonna call it views. We're going to call it source because that's where it is. I think. Do I know what I'm doing? No. And then the output is going to be what the output is, which is site. correct. Save. Is it already fucked up? No. Not yet. Alright. I think this is okay. I think what I have it set up is okay. I almost just want to hand them what I have right now. Be like, did I fuck anything up yet? Anyways. Go back to this.
terminal again, and
He has output public. Now he doesn't even have a public folder yet. He has a source, but he didn't have a public folder. My output is going to be what? Site? Yeah. Okay. And that's only because it said here it created a site output folder already when I made these files, so we're just going to keep that one.
to open up the terminal, I don't know if I mentioned it before, you just go to View, and you go to Terminal, it's right there, or you can see it's Control backtick, and if you're on a Mac, it's probably Command backtick. And now we can do our npm start, because if you remember, before I do that, in my package, we said that the start command, or the start script, will be 11t.
So the only difference is he's going to be able to see a lot more in his HTML, because guess what? His HTML is way more complicated, right? At least he actually has stuff in it. Let me just make sure this is going to work. H2, we'll just make an H2 element real quick. Oh, come on, thing. H2. Does this show up on screen? Save. No, it does not. Son of a bitch. It's already fucked up somehow.
Before I do that, in my package, we said that the start command, or the start script, will be 11t serve. So npm start, hit return on my keyboard, and there we go. It's launched it locally. You also get a little UI, and if you want to check something on your phone, you just go to that address on your...
I hate this fucking shit. Okay. No, it is on. Okay. Maybe I need to... I'll close it and reopen it. Probably won't make a difference. npm run start. Oh, good. It did make a difference. I can't believe it. I literally cannot believe that. Okay. I think we're getting closer, maybe.
Your phone, as long as you're on the Wi-Fi, the same local network, it will work. It's fantastic. Now, there will be some things that aren't going to work properly just because of 11t, but we can see at least we have something that's working here. I have...
So now you see, this is all the stuff he brought into it. And I'm still not really sure. I would really like to know what a configuration file really is doing. mean, as far as I can tell, it's a function. All that exists inside of it is it's a function that says module.exports. I wonder if I should go on a walk. I could ask that to Slack. Hey guys, what the hell is a configuration file? What is it doing? Is there a place I can go to find out the answer to that question? Like, why are we using it? What is it for? I don't like just blindly imitating a tutorial. Without knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm glad it's working, but I don't understand what it's for or why we need it. Or what is it called? Hold on. 11t.js. My bad. Can I drag this down? Like, if I'm gonna learn a new tool, I want to actually learn it and know why I'm know what the hell I'm doing with it, right? And yeah, I'm glad it's working. Sure. But what is this? Yeah, but what is this? That's literally all I can say. Turn your object options. Dude, like, you need to Google it. You need to Google it. I did Google it, and I don't have an answer. I don't see anything similar to mine. What is this? What is it? Can you explain it to me, please?
In this tutorial, I'll show you how you can export
I see a require there.
something from one file in Node.js and then import and use that thing in another file. It could be a function.
Say that again.
Export something from one file in Node.js.
Export a function. Say
Tutorial, I'll show you how you can export something.
Export something from one file in Node.js. Export something from one file in Node.js. Okay, well, we're working in Node.js, so and import it into another file in Node.js is what he says. Maybe I should just post the question. He might not address it very well. How long? 13 minutes? Look at his face. Look at this motherfucker's face.
For Start.js. So this is not important. Start.js, which has an add function, and it also printed something to the console, which is not important. We
Doesn't
have
look like it's gonna
for
rain.
Start.js, which would like to use the add function, which is
Which
in
means I need to leave in an hour.
right? But I cannot use it over here.
She
even
hasn't
though
texted me, so
I have
I'm assuming you're still on.
require just executes that file, but then it does not carry over the namespace. So I lose the function in the namespace. I cannot use that add function. So how do I deal with it? How do I export the add function in the add.js and then import it and use it in the main JavaScript class, which is for Start.js? The way to do this is by using a special keyword called module, and then use a property on it called exports. Okay, I do this, as which is for Start.js, and then import it by namespace. I cannot use that add function. So how do I deal with it? We have an add.js, which has an add function,
Okay.
and it also printed something to the console, which is not important. We
Okay.
have for Start.js, which would like to use the add function, which is in add.js, right? But I cannot use it over here, even though I have required it. Require just executes that file, but then it does not carry over the namespace. So I lose the function in the namespace. I cannot use that add function. So how do I deal with it? How do I export the add function in the add.js and then import it and use it in the main JavaScript class, which is for
Okay, so here he's gonna have a
Start.js. The way to do this is by using a special keyword called module, and then use a property on it called exports. Okay, if I do this, this particular thing is what contains what you want to export out of this module, right? I told you that add.js is a module on its own. By default, a module is encapsulated, and anything you want to take out of the module and access in another module, in another file, you will have to consciously tell Node.js that you want to do that. You need
module export. So I want to export this. So take all. So all I think it's doing is taking. It's just telling it to take everything out of source and put it into site.
to say, hey Node.js, I would like to export these things out of this module, right? In this case, I want to export this add.
And they just happen to tell you to say 11 config here. Return your object options. I mean, I need to do something. I need to move around at some point today. Been sitting for 3 hours. I'm tired of fucking sitting. It's like you only get so far and then it's just like, okay, I need to move my body around some more. Doesn't look like storm. I see blue sky. That's good. That's a good thing. I should open that up a little more. And guess what? Eventually I'll need to eat. Ocean Springs weather radar. Maybe not. Maybe not. Looks pretty bad, honestly. It's just that it's not going to get here till 1, till like exactly at 1. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Was I? Okay.
Function. So I need to say, hey Node.js module.exports is this add function. I want this add function to be exported out. Now that I have this, what Node.js is going to do is when you require a file which has an export, the require is going to return as a return type, let's say var foo equals, right? So this foo, after require executes, this foo is going to be whatever you have exported. Here in this case, it's the add function. So call this add function, okay? Now this is a variable that holds the return of the require. The return of this require in this case for this particular file is whatever we have assigned to module.exports. So in this case, this is going to be the add function. And now I'm going to call that add function. So this add function is going to be just a pointer to this function over here. Now, if I were to execute the same file, you notice that I can access that function which is in another file. Okay, I have exported it. I've said, hey Node.js, I know you encapsulate modules, but I want this guy to be returned by whoever is requiring me. Right? That's what this add.js is doing. I want this function to be the return of whoever is requiring this file. Right? That's what you're doing here. Now this can be a bunch of stuff. Right? It doesn't have to be just the add. So let's say I want to create a function called subtract, which takes in b, and then it returns a minus b. Now let's say you want to export this too. So here's something you can do. Instead of exporting just the function, I can do this in a couple of ways. I can export an object which contains both the add and the subtract. All right. So this is a shorthand notation, by the way. When I'm doing this without the key value property, this is basically an equivalent of doing add colon add and subtract colon subtract, right? In your version of JavaScript, you don't have to do this. If the key and the value match, you can just remove this. But basically this is what I'm doing, right? I'm creating a new object here, an inline object, which has two properties.
So my key, my key is direct, and then it's this object here. Okay.
These add and subtract. The add property is assigned to this add function here, and the subtract property is assigned to this subtract function. And this is the object that I'm exporting. Right? If I were to do this, well then this is no longer the add function. What I get here is that object. All right. So I'm going to call this operators object, and then in order to access the add function,
Operators
I need to
object
do
dot
operators object
dot add.
add.
Okay.
So I am getting this object, which is what is returned in module.exports, and then I'm accessing the add property on it, which is what points, and then I'm accessing.
Well, okay. So when I'm returning this,
accessing the add property on it, which is what points to this.
this is just a function, whereas he's doing what? An object directly. I'm doing a function, which runs immediately, by the way. This means run it immediately. This is not a variable. This is a like it's not the same thing as like const equals function add numbers or whatever. This is saying export this exactly. See, like with his, when this says module exports equals, well, his function is add, right? Which is this. So there's like an intermediate step between. He's calling this add, which is this. Export this function. On mine, I'm exporting something that's going to be run right away. It's not referencing a function that was like written up here. Like it's not like, you know, it's not like this function equals console log something, you know. It's not like that. And then me saying module exports this function. It's not like that. It's a direct function. So anyway, and so what is this direct function doing right away? It's returning value. Exactly. It's returning immediately. I don't know.
Add method that I have over here, and then I'm executing that.
Fucking get out of here.
This should return the same result, and it does. This is one way you can export it. The other way, and the recommended way, is using something like this. Module.exports dot add equals add module.exports dot subtract equals subtract, right? Works exactly the same way, but there is a reason why I'm recommending this, and I'll cover that reason in the next tutorial. But this is exactly the same as what I did with the inline object. This too works. And since I haven't changed the object definition, what is in the exports is going to be two properties.
Really not sure yet.
add and subtract. So nothing has to change when it's being consumed. There is a shorthand to this though. Instead of doing module.export to every
Okay, well I get the general idea what that's for. So do I know why I'm doing any of this? No, of course not. It's 11 o'clock, I'm starting to get hungry. It's like that thing of like, okay, well, if you are gonna go to the thing, then you have to, an hour ahead of time, you know, you have to plan other things out beforehand so that you have time to set up and eat and all that stuff. So it's like, at what point do I start doing that stuff if it might be canceled? I think I'm still going to ask this question because maybe he'll explain it.
Have a page. I don't even know if the links are going to work right now. They're not, but that's okay. We're going to get all this working as we go through it. Even the CSS is broken. Everything is broken. You might be going, well, why is the CSS broken? And interestingly enough, if we come and look here, if I look in my source folder and my all articles, my index, and my individual article, and what 11t has done, if we go into my public folder now, we can actually see that it made an index. And for all those other ones, it creates like pretty URLs.
So public is the same as my site folder. Here you can see that it has HTML in it. If it'll ever load. Maybe it's a little different, I don't know. Shouldn't it be in there directly? Source is this. Let me try another change. Okay. I really don't know. Like, does it need to be source slash everything like this? What about that? Like, I don't know what it's gonna do. It always waits till the last freaking moment. And then whatever I decide to do, you know, I would eventually have to make a call whether we're gonna go perform or not. And if we're not, it just depends on what call I make. If I make the call to do it, then it's gonna start raining. If I make the call not to, then it'll hold off. It's literally waiting on what's inside of my brain right now. As insane as that sounds, that is how all this stuff works. It's literally listening to my own fucking head in order to decide whether to start or not, to rain or not. I know that sounds insane, but that's literally, unironically, that is how it works. Because it has never not worked that way. So if I say, well, it looks okay, let's just go ahead and play. Man, I wish this guy would trade me. Fuck. This thing is in really good condition. That fucking sucks. Like, I could just go ahead and sell that one. Anyways, let's go back to stuff I don't care about. Anyways, okay. I've literally been standing in one spot for like 4 hours.
It makes like an
Like, that's what I don't get. Source. Heated. Hold on. This. Input source. And that is a folder with this stuff in it. Output public. It'll create that folder once it gets it going. There's public suddenly. See how there wasn't public and then there is public? So there's public. It made the public folder. Now, what did it put in the public folder? It didn't put the entire source folder in the public folder. See? It just took the stuff that was in here and put it in the public folder. But for me, I have the same exact thing set up, but and I'm pointing to source, and there it is. Well, hold on. Source is right here, and it has this file on it. Yeah, just has one file. There it is. Wait, here it is right here. And I've used that as my input, just like he has. And I'm outputting, it's just that my output folder is called site and his is called public. And here's my site output folder. But for me, it's actually throwing my entire source folder in there instead of just what's inside of the source folder. So you see, he doesn't have a source folder in here. He's just got everything that was in his source folder put in here. I mean, but he doesn't have assets and he doesn't have blog in there. I'm not really sure why that is.
It made an index, and for all those other ones, it creates like pretty URLs. So it makes like an index within the folder.
Not thus far. It's probably just gonna come. Doody-doo. Doody-doo, doody-dee. Doody-da, doody-do. That's who I want to be. Okay.
So, it just means that you don't have an extension at the end. Like a .html, you just go to individual article and you'll find that page. But you'll notice so So it makes like an index within the folder.
It makes an index within the folder. I mean, I guess I'm okay with that. I don't know.
So, it just means that you don't have an extension at the end. Like the .html, you just...
See, this was individual article.html. Individual article.html. And then he did that, and
just go to individual article and you'll find that page. But you'll notice it hasn't brought the assets in. It did bring the blog because the blog has markdown files. So by default, it's taking HTML files, markdown files, other templating languages. It will automatically take those. But what it will not take, and it won't touch, is other things like this assets folder, which has an image in it and images over here, and it did not take my CSS file. So I actually have to tell Eleventy to do that. So to be able to change a configuration file, we have our Eleventy.js, that's our configuration file. To be able to change that, you want to stop this process because you can't update a configuration file. It's not going to change if everything is running.
okay. Oops. Wonder if that makes any sense. Uh-oh. Nope. I mean, it brought that in. Isn't that what I wanted? But now it's got this as like a subdirectory or some shit. And if that fucks it up, guess what? That's okay too. So I'm going to do this one more time. And then say npm run start. It appears to work. There's my source. Here's my site. No more extra folder in here. Here's the HTML. I don't know. I guess I did it. I don't know. No idea, man.
So I'm going to do a Control C, and that says terminate job. I do yes. And now we can clear that, and we're not running anything. It's not watching my files. And I can come in here, and this is why I wanted my 11t config in the first place, is to tell it we do want it to grab a few of the files. We need our CSS, we need our images, and all of that. So to tell, if you ever have things that you need 11t to take and pass through from our source file to our public folder that it's not doing by default, we have to tell it to do that. So to be able to do that, we do 11t config dot add pass through copy, like this, with the camel case the same way. And then we tell it what we want it to pass through. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure we're going to our root, we're gonna go to our SRC, and we want our CSS, so I can say style.css, like that. Make sure you have a semicolon at the end here, and then we can do another one, 11t config.add pass-through copy, and this time, where do we want to go? We want it to go into our, you can actually tell it, you can use globbing here too if you find it a little bit easier, but I'm also going to tell it to grab my assets. So it's just going to go.
Okay, well that's his file structure. Mine, well, I have assets too, actually. I'm gonna need that as well. In fact, I should probably just, yeah. It's now 11:30. What are we gonna do? What the hell is the weather gonna do? It's listening to my brain. I know it is. I know that sounds insane. I know that sounds crazy. But guess what? Reality is insane. Like, it just is. So expect insanity. It looks pretty bad though, honestly. It does not look very good. But it also kind of looks like it's missing us. Like this right here, y'all see this right here? See this? Right, I'm here. I'm this little place here. Now, at 12:55, depending on how I make my decision, this little channel here, it's either going to stay in the middle and both of these things are just going to float over top and underneath. See that? And we're just going to slide right through the middle. Or if I decide to actually go, it's gonna move up and hit us. You see? It's a blue sky right now. Mr. Blue, we're so glad to be with you. But I'm for sure as hell not gonna risk getting dumped on all this stuff I use. That doesn't make any sense. I wonder if they'll be okay with a later performance. Can we wait? I don't know. Nobody knows. Ain't nobody know. Ain't nobody be knowing. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to cancel. I need to keep working on this stuff.
space for you and Dale. This is in the way, obviously, but it would be nice if you had if there's a chair. I'm just thinking like, if this were your space, how would you want to live here? Because just living in your room is not a way to live. You know, you need a place to sit down and, you know, but it's not that you watch television, that's not the point, but, you know, have your stereo set up if you want to listen to music. You know, sit in a chair to read, whatever. But this would be a very welcoming mental space, you know, to get out of that room. And not feel like you just live in
Stuck in
a
the room.
You know what I mean? And, because, so I'll talk to Dale and stuff, but, I just don't know what to.
I mean, at the end of the day, I have to be sat in front of a computer to do what I'm doing, so.
Well, I know, but it'd be nice, hey, I'm gonna go sit in here and read or look at something or, whatever. So anyway.
Yeah, maybe we'll get that stereo set up, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed I got all those records stolen.
Yeah.
I had such a
I
good
never
collection.
had found.
Man, I had all of them, I had all of them.
Well, just slowly start picking some up. You know, you can buy them on Amazon and stuff. You can pick exactly what you want. If you listen to them, until you do start listening to them. Well, there's something, who is it? The Clash New York, that's upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Did you get
that little one? Yeah.
That's a big one, it's a little out.
Oh, that's not mine. I had a Clash, 45, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Like mountain.
I just called, I didn't get in touch with him, it's gonna rain today.
Yeah.
It's getting up to like 100%.
Yeah, that's what somebody told me.
So I would, me personally, unless you have to have the cash,
I don't really want to risk it.
and if there's nowhere to set up inside,
Yeah, it's probably gonna be.
can you play inside?
No.
No, and I don't just not show, call them, tell them, say, look.
No, I did. I already texted asking, but
Excellent,
yeah.
so I got to do it for you. Okay. And this is when you can tell them when you're out the gig, and you've got a real interesting mix of an audience.
So every time.
So yeah, there was like, I told you where I work in Gulfport. There's a guy that transitioned to a girl.
There was.
Still lives there, yeah. And
Oh my
I'm trying
god.
to think of now that I mentioned, I can't think of the name.
Hat. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, how they forecasted so much in the early Saturday Night Lives, and didn't know it. They did, think about it.
And Pat, do you well, never mind. That's crazy.
But anyway, yeah, so when I first trained this person, they were just a guy. And then I retired. And when I came out of retirement, like a month or two later,
Mm-hmm.
and started working back in Gulfport,
Mm-hmm.
then the person that took over said, hey, look, this has occurred, this has occurred. And I said, okay, no problem, that's the deal, that's the deal. And working as a government employee, you don't have to believe in a lot of the things, but the rules are personnel, PR, personal, what do you call it, HR. The HR department, they set solid rules and say.
You have to play along, basically.
Well, you don't have to, you can't be rude to anybody, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I agree to work here and do that, that's fine. probably was earlier. He's young, and but he's just sensible. But he knows the world he lives in is upside down and stuff. He doesn't pose for anything. Just the world. And so anyway, so I'm training him. I said, man, I gotta do it for you. I said, okay, so there's this guy and this girl, and they kind of been seeing each other a little bit, and just out and about and kind of hanging out. Some, but really nothing going on. And one night they go out and they end up going home together for the first time. And they get in, they start making out and everything, and start, kind of getting hot and heavy. And she really starts just playing with his balls a lot, and she just like she's obsessed with them almost. And then they do it, and then they're laying there naked, and she's got her head on his stomach, and she just keeps playing with his balls. And he goes up. I don't mind that.
Oh, God.
I don't mind that or anything, but it's just kind of odd. I mean, it's just different. It's not bad. It's just different. I was just curious.
And she says,
And then he says, is there any reason to just, really kind of focused on that part? And she goes, yeah, I just really miss mine.
Jesus Christ.
You saw it coming, huh? Because I told you.
That actual situation is going to be coming about, I
just don't know if surgery would be, seems like you'd be able to tell, but this isn't a real vagina. You know what I mean? If a dude
Well,
gets
yeah.
chopped off.
But I mean, with the hormones and everything, there's been cases of guys going out with what they think is a girl
Yeah.
and not finding out until
Yeah, like
that moment.
The great reveal, yeah.
Yeah, by the way.
The big reveal. Oh my goodness.
Well, I shouldn't have to tell you. Everybody treats everyone equally. Yeah? I shouldn't have to tell you that.
Your vagina turned into a cock.
Yeah, what do you mean I'm not a real woman? That's not fair.
Oh,
Sheesh, man.
you can break dance with that erection you got going, you're not a woman.
I was at Keg and Barrel last week, and it's sitting there playing like I always do. Family sitting around.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dale.
What's that thing? You hear us talking?
Yeah. Standing in darkness for some reason.
No.
Do you know you need me? Huh?
Yeah, at the farmer's market today.
Did the media come out?
Yeah, they took some photos.
What news was LOX?
Yeah.
Might be on news tonight.
Yeah, we had a farmer's market. The Elks Lodge in Gulf Park Estates. So we had it there and I sold out. So came home.
That's good.
Yeah, I went in on top of the bomb and we got the money from 4 bowls. So right now I'm making enough to be satisfied.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then physics and chemistry are improving. So things are going good right now.
You just focus on things you
Yeah.
need, right? Just make that your priority. That's what you do.
All right.
I'm proud of you for being able to focus your energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got my socks and shoes. I gotta take some better fitting out.
So you play.
And I kid you not, this 6'5" black dude, full beard, hairy shoulders and all, comes in this level high heels, tight black, just the tightest black skirt, one piece, so whatever that's called, with
great.
2 other ladies and just
Yeah.
clunk, clunk. And I was like, I had to do a double take. But the thing is, it's I don't have to worry about HR doing that, but this is how it is. We're gonna,
Not weird, just people do it. You don't. They're freaks and they know it, and everybody knows it. It's just I don't understand it. I imagine over in Europe that the cross-dressers, you know, if you go back, cross-dressers have been around for a long time. And those were, you could really call them whatever the word is now, trans people. You used to say transsexual, but now they just say trans. And it was, you didn't say transsexual back in the day, you just said cross-dresser. And because in the early or late 60s, early 70s, I guess, or maybe mid 70s, that famous song that still is well known, maybe not played much, Lola. Yeah. That's exactly what that's talking about. And that couldn't have been a song if people didn't really know and go, yeah, I was talking about, ha ha ha. And because it existed then. And it exists today, and I think it existed like in 1600s, 1700s, like in France and other developed places. But it wasn't just open out in society all the time, everywhere. In Europe, I think that it's probably been to the degree of openness that we're beginning to see. And ours is, I don't know. They have to be allowed to step out, and then it'll quiet back down to just, okay, somebody wants to pretend they're so they're stupid. There they go. You know. But if you, and I think if you were in Europe, a lot of places you're going to see a lot of that. Not predominantly, not the majority, but it exists. It's been for a long time. I don't say it's the right thing. I don't participate in it. The media here, in my opinion, it just gives it such a very small anything, the huge voice. You know, and that's why we're aware of it. I think in Europe, the media doesn't do that. So, and the percentages probably in Europe are the same in the population sample as they are here. But the media here has just got a bullhorn, a disruptive bullhorn.
Yeah.
And that's why it seems so overwhelming to us. That's just my opinion. And in Europe, they just don't. The population has been around long enough to not care. You're blowing it up, not us. You're making a big deal of it, not us.
There's also the thing of like, the media makes it look like, you know, like it's already there. Whether or not it's already, like if it said, like all we can do is look at media in order to try to find out what the current status of anything is.
Yeah. Not all
So
the
the media just says,
Yeah.
media says whatever, then regardless of what the reality is, not looking at the television, but in
Yeah.
the real world, we're not going to even see that.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You see it. You see it in a lot of people that see the real world. You're aware of it, right?
You know, what happens is
There's a lot of
if
people
they
that
say
say-
that everybody's, if they say that like transsexual training like that, changing yourself like that is totally normal and mainstream, whether or not that's even true, people read that out in the media and go, okay, it's already everywhere, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it. Meanwhile, it wasn't already everywhere.
No, I agree. And that's just pure propaganda or sensationalism. You know,
Wow.
and trying to shape a society. And I don't agree with it. And there's millions of people in this country that see it for what it is and go, no, that's not real. Or that's not norm, that's not mainstream. That's the exception, but we don't have the airwaves of the media, and they're trying to pretend it is, and we know better. You know,
Wow.
there's
see that kind of operation.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, at the farmer's market, someone's selling something you may be interested in.
Gold.
Macaroons. It's like a cookie. It's like kind of like an Oreo.
Macadamia nut?
No.
A macaroon?
Yeah. Kind of like an Oreo, with a filling in the inside.
Oh, okay, yeah, little.
Yeah. Yeah, we have those
Check it
there.
out, okay. Are they good?
Yeah, I tried one. I like the key lime one.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to try one. That sounds good.
Also had a food truck out there. Not sure what's in it, but
Okay. Well, thanks, Dale.
Yeah.
Well, like where I work, where I go for, people don't get wrapped around the axle about that person that transitioned. And
Like for example,
they don't go, ooh, we support you, yay, let's go wave your banner too. They certainly don't do that. They realize that's weird.
people
But-
like to think of it like, okay, the media is just now reflecting what has already been there, right? They think
Yeah.
it's media going, okay, well this thing that does exist in society has always been here, and now we're just shedding light on it. That's what we're doing.
They're doing
And what's
way-
actually happening is it doesn't exist to that degree
Exactly.
in society,
I agree 100%.
and it's focusing in on a very small minority
I agree
of
100%.
crazy cases, and it's blowing it up as if it's just as normal as being,
Yeah.
you know, straight and all that.
Yeah.
So,
And that's wrong. That's
and then people watch that and they go, the media representation of how this is all distributed, okay, well, if there's half of people are gay now, well, guess what ends up happening? People watch the media, and now guess what? Third graders, fourth graders, who shouldn't even be thinking about this stuff, are like 50% identifying
You
as.
gotta give families some credit because they're going to talk to their children too and not just let the world grow their children up for them. They won't allow that. They don't allow that. You know, the kids can't be influenced by it. I'm not saying that's not true. But the family gets to be the pushback too. They get to be the pushback. And there is pushback. There's, you know, legislation.
It's
being-
increasingly given you're just gonna have to totally isolate yourself from all
Don't
media.
give up. Don't give up. And don't focus about it too much.
No, I'm not. I'm just describing what's going on.
Yeah. I know it's sad, but I think you don't give just individuals enough credit for being able to see through it too. Have faith that people do have brains and they're not always dumbass. Whatever they see, they believe. They're not.
I don't know.
And I give people a little credit for it. Josh doesn't buy into it, and I'm sure he sees me.
But that's what I mean about like the power of.
Anyway, I know it's sad and it's unfortunate. That's the world we're in right now. Just, you don't buy into it, you know, you hold your own, and have confidence or hope that other people will hold their own. They gotta fight their fights, and you gotta fight your fight.
Yep.
I'm gonna go charge the battery on the BMW and try and get it sold for a scooter. Get it sold.
Your motorcycle?
Yeah, I never mind.
Oh.
Just in there.
You're gonna sell all the scooters and the motorcycle?
I'll probably keep the light on. Then I can.
Oh, okay.
I mean, nobody's riding the blue one. And I just need it. Then the hurt, so then kind of refocus my. We gotta get the house painted. I want to kind of get the house years, like, shit, the weather kicks its ass.
Yeah.
It's a mold and all that. They're gonna come in and paint with some better paint.
Mm.
When houses are built now, they just come in with sprayers. Done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not a quality of the exterior paint job, the labor of it is not applied real well. It's just
Right.
and not the best paint either. And so, got that. That's the Lewis is the guy's name. That the Hispanic guy that came by and his crew was looking at it, trying to work up like an estimate. But anyway, so I want to thin the herd like this stuff. I'm like probably still a lot of stereo stuff I want to put in percent. So yeah, there's I've got receivers and speakers and my idea was every room in the house has a little stereo spot. So people if they visit or whatever, they'll be stereo.
Wait, you already got the good one back from Florida, right?
Yeah. Slow down. Like, don't be a hoarder. A hoarder.
Mm.
Stop being a hoarder.
Yeah.
So I can spend time doing what I want to do.
Look at that tree starting to die.
It's good.
Oh look, I'm still online. No, man. It doesn't matter what I say. He's gonna be, no, don't do that. It doesn't really matter what I say. Yeah, let's go to this. Let's go to that. Let's open this up. Let's text her. She's haven't texted me all day. She did read it. Why don't we just... It's supposed to go up to 100% around 2 p.m. I just don't want to risk. What about tomorrow? Sunday. Should be nice tomorrow. Would y'all still want us tomorrow? Would y'all still want music tomorrow though? Should we still plan for tomorrow? Should we still plan to come by tomorrow? No, don't. No, don't. A question. Oh no. She's not gonna answer now, even though she just texted back. Like, I know she's on her phone because she literally just wrote me back, but she's not gonna answer now. Questions? Don't ask me questions. Just tell me things so I can say okay.
Go and find in my source, my assets, it's going to take anything that's in here. So just by including the folder, you don't have to say every single file because that would be a nightmare. So if we do that, I'm going to hit save. And now we do an npm start. Once again, so it should do it. It's going to rebuild all my public folder. And now we can go and check it out. And now, hey, look, my images are working because they're being passed through. And this first image worked. You can say style.css like that.
Source, there's this. What about so what does this mean? Do I need to just she ain't even gonna fucking read it. Hello. Well, I guess, I mean, she has to ask Sandra, who does not like me. Sandra. Oh, Sandra. Sandra, Sandra, Sandra. Oh, Sandra. Whoa, Sandra. Please believe me. Okay, I'll never Sandra no more. Boo, 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 boo. Believe me when I tell you. Ooh, boom, boom, ba. Never do you no harm. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Except I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to be using my old code, which is still there. I still don't understand what I'm doing. That's better now than it was in the other repository. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. Hold on. Click. Could I please view my files, please? Hello? Computer? Can I see my files, please? The fuck? Why can't I see my files? Hello? Coding. Heard that. Well, let's get some stuff lined up. I missed jamming you. You sounded great at me the other night. That was a nice text. Well, if you're open tomorrow, we might be able to play tomorrow. I don't know. I'm asking. We both played that song at the same time. That was so funny. That was so keck. Believe me when I tell you. Never. Okay, so what am I doing? I am. Oh yeah. In the source. That's it. Okay, I need to get to advanced. Where did it go? Here. advanced, this stuff. This is this. I need to move some of this stuff over now to this advanced. Where did it go? Into this file. Right? It's coming from, no, it's into source, not into site, into source. So really what I need to do is delete this. Right? I will need that. What does this do? Oh, that's that. Okay, well, you can take it or leave it. It really doesn't matter. Anyways, the point is, on this DevJobs 2, the input is source. The input is everything inside source. So, I need to put stuff inside source. It needs to go into this folder here. This stuff here needs to go in here. And it's going to say HTML already exists. And I'm going to say, okay. We want that data JSON. We want this. We want the dist folder as well. I believe. Maybe we don't want the dist folder. No, we don't want the dist folder. This folder was being created by give me 2 seconds. Was being created by Parcel, and we're not going to be running Parcel as far as I can tell. I mean, I don't think we'll be running Parcel. I'm really not sure, to be honest. What time is it? It's 12:20. Watch, now that I've canceled, mark my words, now that I have canceled our gig, it is not going to rain. It's not even going to rain at all. Watch. Just watch. We're not going to get any rain. Let's just go ahead and pull up the radar and see what the radar is doing. I know it looks bad, but I guess we'll have to see. I am here. So well, even before then. This is at what, 125? 20-ish minutes? Well, no. In an hour. In an hour, it's supposedly going to look like this. I doubt that. Let's just say I have my doubts. Sun will come back out. The clouds will reform to say, haha, got you, Nick. Seriously. Let me just close this and see what it does. close that too. npm run start. Is it broken? Seems to still work. Let me look. That close. I don't know why this thing has to reload every time. There's my source. Output is site. Let's look what that looks like. Good. Kind of weird that I have to do that. Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, I need to go work out or something. I need to move around. What time is it? It's gonna go on 1. Come back. I guess I could go on a bike ride. What's wrong with a bike ride, right? She's just not gonna text me back. I understand. I understand, baby child, honey baby child. Alright, so I think I've got it set up pretty good. The next step in all of this is to move this stuff into this folder. And I'm just going to copy paste it. Now my question is, no, that's that one, but the old one was what? Move this over here so I can compare. Look how slow my computer's moving. Okay. The other one, I had Parcel doing it. Build 11T. Build 11T. So I'm asking it to build 11T in general. So what is 11T in general? It's this. 11T in general is this. Am I right? Build 11T. What is this? What does that mean? What am I saying there? Like in here, I'm saying parcel build index.json. Well, it says 11D serve, so let me just start there. Parcel. I was using parcel before. Now in this new one, I'm not using parcel. But what does that mean to say 11D serve? Well, you have 11T here, and you're calling this dev dependency by using this word, and you're saying serve. What is it going to look to when it serves? I'm really not sure. Like here, it's looking to HTML. Like, does that mean it's gonna serve everything that's in my source folder? Is that what that means? Or site folder, rather? It's gonna look to site folder, I think. Is that what that means? Since that's our usual. And it looks clear. I forget. So if so, you're welcome there. I'll let you know though. As I'm typing it, she texts me back. Ba 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 boop a doop. I bet you anything it's not gonna rain. I need to go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym and come back. I'm gonna go to the gym and come back. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I don't think you need that. Let's just try this. From our source, remember, we're taking we're taking source, whatever's inside of source here. Okay, so I'm about to replace this file with a different file. It's still going to say it's just going to replace it because it's the same name, index.html. Now, what I want to do is, I mean, I guess you could just do copy paste. What the fuck? All right. take this, hit copy. Okay, come over here, hit paste. Paste item. Now there's already something there. If I say replace, now what the hell happened? Oh, what? Did it get replaced? Look at that. It looks like that now. And now the question is, what does this look like? Look at that. It actually put it in there, kind of. So now source looks like that. Now it doesn't have any CSS it's working off of. But like this tutorial says, you're gonna have to add that in here so it'll recognize it, so it'll add it. You can ignore that, I believe. You need the assets in there, so go ahead and grab that as well. We'll see if that, does anything. Copy. Paste. Refresh. No. Okay. You're gonna need this. Oh. You're going to need this. Paste. That's not going to do anything yet either. We're going to need this. Copy. Paste. We're going to need that. As well as that. You're not going to need node modules though. Did I get assets already? Yeah, we are going to need data.json as well. And let's just bring this over anyway. I'm not using it in anything, but it'll be a good, not that I ever even use it at all. Hold on. But I'll just bring it over anyway. There is this too. Maybe this is useful. What happened to copy? There's no copy for this. And that's node modules. Node modules is fine. I don't care about that. Now, following the tutorial again, let me look. He says,
So to tell, if you ever have things that you need 11t to take and pass through from our source file to our public folder that it's not doing by default, we have to tell it to do that.
Right.
So to be able to do that, we do 11t config dot add pass through copy, like
Do I not have access to this?
Like this with the camel case the same way. And then we tell it what we want it to pass through. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure we're going to our root. We're going to go to our SRC. And
So now, close this one out. Or sorry, keep this one open. You can see source is winding up in site. And as you can see, all those things are in site now. This is site, and this is all the stuff inside of site. Cool. So it carried this stuff into here. Boom, boom. See? Good. Now he's just doing a CSS. So
and we want our CSS, so I can say style.css like that. Make sure you have a semicolon at the end here, and then we can do another one. E11t config.add pass-through copy, and this time where do we want to go? We want it to go into our, you can actually tell it, you can use globbing here too if you find it a little bit easier, but I'm also going to tell it to grab my assets. So it's
So it does index.html by default, but everything else you have to tell it to do. So it's going to be mapped to main.css because guess what? Main.css, no, that's not what's linked. Not really sure. I would like to see if this works before I go to the gym. Hold on. Maybe they thought, you know, I don't know. That's our normal time. It's Sunday, so I would have thought. Anyways, okay. So from here, we want source dot what? We do want source dot data JSON. We want hold on, back up a little bit.
it's this, you can use and the this config public to take that. We do, and I can come in here and then we can clear that, and we're not running anything. It's not watching my files. and I can come in here and so across ever left image in it, an image, and it won't touch is other things like this assets folder, which has
Didn't touch the assets folder. It didn't touch the assets folder, you're right. I asked it to put everything from source into site. Here's source, and guess what? There's an assets folder. It didn't touch it. Maybe that'd be a good place to start. It did. I mean, it looks like it brought over SC. So he's doing stuff that didn't get copied over. Assets folder, assets folder, assets folder. His style.css did not get copied over. You see that? This right here didn't get copied over.
an image in it, and images over here, and it did not take my CSS file. So I actually have to tell Eleventy.
Well, it took my CSS file. It's right here. It took mine. It didn't take my assets. Which I don't even remember what's in assets. You would think there would be color on the page or something, right? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Well, I don't know. I'm really not sure. Assets. Okay, well let's move assets over and just see what that does.
To do that. So to be able to change a configuration file, we have our 11t.js, that's our configuration file. To be able to change that, you want to stop this process because you can't update a configuration.
Oh, well let's stop it first and see if that does anything. Where the hell did my terminal go? Okay. We're gonna stop this real quick. And then we're gonna start it again. Yeah, npm run start. Let's see how that does. Did that change anything? Doesn't look like it. All right, well, anyways, let's say assets, source assets. I want to see him do that
it's not
first.
going to change if everything is running. So I'm going to do a Control C, and that says terminate job. I do yes, and now we can clear that, and we're not running anything. It's not watching my files. And I can come in here, and this is why I wanted my 11t config in the first place, is to tell it we do want it to grab a few of the files. We need our CSS, we need our images, and all of that. So to tell, if you ever have things that you need 11t to take and pass through from our source file to our public folder that it's not doing by default, we have to tell it to do that. So to be able to do that, we do 11t config dot add pass through copy, like this, with the camel case the same way. And then we tell it what we want it to pass through. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure we're going to our root, we're going to go to our src, and we want our CSS, so I can say style.css.
See, mine went through. Maybe it will rain. It kind of starts to look like rain. Okay. What am I doing? Oh yeah, npm run Did anything change? Hey, we got some icons, baby. Look at that. But we still don't have CSS. So I need to think about this. How do I get the main.scss to get working? In here, well, it's now this as well, so main.scss, right. From main, is it a matter of, it shouldn't be, index.html references this. Okay. Close my old one. What's this doing again? Do I need that? Let me look in the documentation real quick. Hold on, where did that go? I may need to look in the documentation. So you have bundle.scss. Oh, whatever, I'll put it back over here. Okay. Wait, this. I just have source.assets. Do I need to? I need to specifically say, but the reason he did that was because it wasn't in his you know, public folder. Mine is in my folder. To the build outfit folder, or you could use Glock. But mine's already in that folder. What about SCSS? Is that the difference maker here that I'm using SCSS? Custom templates. You can add JS and CSS or even SCSS for Sass as a combo. Process by 11 post process the CSS using Sass, blah blah blah. And write the process content to your outlook. Oh. I don't know. What does this mean? How would I do this? Mono explores add tables. Do I need to just do npm install SAS? Is that what the issue is? I think that might be the issue, actually. I didn't install SAS here yet. That might actually be the issue. So I install SAS, it shows up on my package.json. Then I can do these steps. And then it'll process CSS into SAS, supposedly. Maybe. It could work out. Hold on. Yeah, it does look actually like it's going to storm now. I need to move around. Yeah, you got to do an install of SAS. Okay, npm. See, look. This where I'm at. Now that it's been you'll see here SAS. Okay, so now let's just open it up again and see, does it do anything now? Probably not, it doesn't, but we'll see again. npm run start. npm run start. Now what does that look like? Anything? Nope. Same exact thing. Okay. In the meantime, to configure this again. 11t this. Tell me what I need to do. Module exports equals that. 11t config. Add template formats. Great. Let's do that. I'm not going to be saying add pass or copy. I'm going to be saying add template formats. And it's not going to be a file, of course. It's just going to be SCSS. Right, SCSS. Which is going to allow it to read this down here. I believe, yeah. Okay. Now, what is this? Creates the extension for use. Output file extension. Oh, okay, great. Why don't I use this as well? Interesting, okay. This is actually its own thing. Hold on. Bruh. Mm-hmm. I don't work tomorrow, so they want me. I'm available. Sweet. Creates the extension for use. Okay. Can we get this scooted over so it aligns? Great. I didn't do this part. Hold on. We're in module exports equals. Already. This is above it. Let me go to the gym soon. Doobie doobie doo. Is this correct? Module exports equals function. I mean, this gets added to it, so I'm still doing this for the other stuff. You might put it above it so it looks like it's related to that. Nope, it didn't do anything. Okay. And that could be because I haven't added it up here. The pass-through copy, as he does here. Oh God, now my computer's just gonna break. Paste, pass-through copy, source. Main.scss, is that how I would do it? I don't know. I don't know. I need to take a break. I've been doing this since fucking 8 o'clock. Source assets, source. Yes, source assets is in there. See, now assets is in there. What is a job? I don't know what this is. Job? Anyways, it's connected to main.scss, so why don't we say that instead? Main.scss. Main.scss. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Doesn't work. Okay.
Like that. Make sure you have a semicolon at the end here, and then we can do another one. E11t config dot add pass-through copy, and this time where do we want to go? We want it to go into our. You can actually tell it. You can use globbing here too if you find it a.
And also, it may not have anything to do with that. It may just have to do with not really sure. Not really sure, but I need to go do something else for a minute.